Have you ever seen tension between costumes and props?
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah. Yes. Well, and
The costume designer saying, this is the costume, the props person, but they asked for this size of loot.
yeah.
And the costume designer, if that loot has so many sharp things and touches one of the bits of lace.
Yeah.
And so how do
Yes.
you...
Well, I think those kinds of things are usually ironed out before they get to the stage. But if they do get to this, I remember when Goldie Semple was playing Amelia in Othello, and she went for a costume fitting. There were beautiful, beautiful clothes for that show, very sort of empire, long flowy stuff. And she was at a fitting for, I think, her maybe second or third dress. And they said to her, please don't sit down in this. And she said, sit down in it? I'm going to die in it. Hello, we all have to be on the same page here. Absolutely, it was a beautiful, beautiful costume, but there are certain requirements of that costume in relation to the play itself that sometimes you have to explain.
Does the stage, I've never been clear of this, whether the stage manager has any responsibility in those kind of, like thinking through the through line of this costume. This costume has to appear in this scene. The actor or actress does this and this in this costume. They then take the card on the horse and whatever. So then we have to have a muddy version for Act 4, and then we have to have a clean version, but with patches in Act 5. So does the stage manager part of tracking the challenge of these costumes and props moving through these scenes?
Yes, because at the beginning, if you say somebody is going to, they're going to take something out of their pocket, you have to then pass that information on to the wardrobe to say they need a pocket in there, whatever, and it needs to be this size, and this is the prop that we're using in rehearsal, let us know if that's good, kind of thing. Or, he's has a sword, but he's left-handed. So you have to know that means the scabbard is...
And where do the jurisdictional lines lie in that? So here's a costume, and here's Tom Rooney playing a part, and he's got a dagger, and he has a sheath for a dagger here, but Tom Rooney says, well, no, I don't want to put my dagger there. This kind of character would take it, he put it in his boot, or he put it under his belt here. And then the costume person said, no, it goes here. And the actor says, no, for this moment, I want it to go in the belt.
Right.
Where do you or the director then come into that?
The director has to step in if it's that kind of...
Right.
Yeah. And for the most part, we'll side with the actor, one hopes.
Right. And in terms of a production machine as big as Stratford, with so many productions opening around the same time and so many departments having to coordinate all these rehearsals, how does that allow more flexibility in these relationships, or does it mean things actually get set and locked in, and I don't care that your dagger wants to go over there, I'm sorry, we're opening 2 days and we have major problems in Troilus and Cressida, so how much does the machine dictate things, if you know what I mean?
Yes. The situation, though, at Stratford, as you know, is you may only get what are considered maybe 120 priority hours of rehearsal, but you might get that same amount in secondary rehearsals,
right,
and even some tertiary, which is like 2 people in a closet rehearsing or whatever, so that it's over maybe a 3 or 4 month period. So the same is true for all of the shops. So things have more time to change, to evolve as the show is evolving, because it isn't like 2 weeks of rehearsal and then it's all happening.
Right. I had an incident when I played Slender in The Merry Wives of Windsor, and I was a very bad actor, and I got into trouble. In that, they designed my costume, and I went, okay, I've had no hand in that design, but I guess that's what I'm wearing. With Susan Benjamin, brilliant costume. I went, I'm not sure I want to wear that cape over my back all the time. I don't quite see that with the character, and there were some negotiations. I had my facial hair designed for me, without asking, this is what your face is going to look like. And I went, well, you know, when I create characters, I usually have a think about how, no, this is what you're wearing. So, okay, fine, we'll wear it. And the little goatee was quite long. And so I wore it through the dress rehearsals and the previews. And I'm going, I don't like what I see in the mirror. And I don't like it as catching down here. Mm-hmm. And in the fleur of the moment, I took a pair of scissors in my dressing room. You heard the noise. And I cut about this much from the bottom of a very long goatee. Okay. Would you explain that reaction?
Well, because that's happened before. That not necessarily what you're speaking of, but I did a production of The Miracle Worker, and Lisa Repo Martel was playing Helen Keller. She was brilliant in it. She was having a really, really hard time, as I'm sure any actor does when you're playing somebody who's deaf and blind, because all of the cues that as an actor you usually get, you don't get, or you have to act like you're not getting them, but you do indeed have to react to noise and movement, even though you're not supposed to be able to hear or see it. Must be, I can't imagine the kind of mental gymnastics that you have to do in order to do that. But she was wonderful, wonderful in it. But I do remember when she put on one of the first costumes, which was kind of like a midi dress for a kid, and it had a high collar that was quite, just sort of fit like this. And of course, she spent so much of her time like crawling on the floor and over things and stuff like that. And she was always sort of, and you go, her mother would not make her wear this.
Right.
You just knew that. And indeed, one night she took scissors and just cut it down. And you go, I don't blame you at all, and we will get it fixed. And that, you know, it was just one of those things that you go, at a certain point, the frustration is affecting the work that's being done and making it far more difficult than it needs to be.